Gaming genres don't make any sense. Sure, they can help categorize certain games because they are similar to other games like, let's say, JRPGs. Most gamers will kind of know that a JRPG is a certain type of game. They know what they are like to play, but most often know what they look like. Take games like Octopath Traveler, Xenoblade Chronicles, Persona, or the newly released Sea of Stars. All of these can be classified as amazing JRPGs. But if you look at the meaning of the acronym, the J stands for Japanese and RPG stands for roleplay game. Which would mean that, first of all, Sea of Stars isn't actually a JRPG because Sabotage, the studio, the game developer, is based in Canada. But secondly, roleplaying game kinda means every sort of game, because nearly every game you play requires you to play a role of a character, meaning that technically some of the most well-known and beloved JRPGs are Mario, Zelda, Death Stranding, or even Elden Ring. I mean, that doesn't really make sense. You can counter by saying, well, yeah, now we're getting into technicalities, and basically everyone knows that a game like Elden Ring is not a JRPG. But what do we call it? I mean, the obvious answer is a Soulslike. That is just what it is. It is a game like Dark Souls, because Elden Ring is literally made by From Software, the game developer of the Dark Souls game. And also other Souls game. It's not only Dark Souls, it's like the Souls games. Which is true, Elden Ring is a Souls-like, just like Hollow Knight or Tunic. I mean, it's really, we all sort of know that a Souls-like game is most often used to describe a game that's more difficult than other games, and then maybe has a Souls mechanic. Which means that you can get something by slaying enemies inside of the game to upgrade your stuff and skills, which is XP or gold in most JRPGs, but different. I know I'm kind of exaggerating here, but the truth is that most gaming genres just do not make any sense at all. I mean, most genres are derived from old games, and any games that came after it and had some similarities in some aspect would be described as, oh, it's kind of like this game. A prime example of this is a genre called roguelike, and it literally means that it's like the game Rogue. But because there are too many roguelike games, there is a new genre that has been created for games that are like Rogue, but not enough like Rogue as other games that are like Rogue, and those games are called Roguelite. It's just stupid. But on the other hand, what choice do we have? I mean, we can't really make new games and not let people know what they are like. The only reviews you get that way are, well, it's good, or it's bad, or yeah, you jump from platform to platform sometimes. Which would actually mean that it's a platformer. But do you know where the genre platformer came from? Well, it says right here that it originated from a game that came out in 1980 called Space Panic. Which doesn't have jumping, it has ladders. And then 1 year later, Donkey Kong came out, which has ladders and jumping. But you tell me, does Donkey Kong and this, It Takes Two, look similar? They are both platformers, I mean, just a little different, but they're platformers. But still, what can we do differently? We have already established these genres and subgenres, so we might as well use them, right? I mean, to me, a game review of Sea of Stars like this makes sense. Sea of Stars is a love letter to classic turn-based JRPGs. Sea of Stars successfully modernizes and builds on the traditional 2D pixel RPG game and proves how such a genre has the potential to thrive among the saturated market hype for realistic games, through beautiful storytelling, engaging gameplay, and brilliantly written characters. And even though I haven't played much, if any, classic pixel RPG games, I still knew what that meant and what to expect from Sea of Stars, which is kinda crazy to me. Also, side note, the saturated market hype for realistic games? I mean, some of the best games of 2023 aren't realistic at all. I mean, we have had games like Dave the Diver, Octopath Traveler 2, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Cocoon, and many more. I mean, sure, there were also a lot of great realistic games, but I feel like we're starting to appreciate less realistic games more as of late. Anyways, back to the topic of this video. I want to ask you a question. Just, you don't have to answer it in the comments, in your head is fine. When recommending a game, which method do you use most often? Would you tell them while recommending, let's say Terraria, that it is an action-adventure sandbox game with some RPG aspects? Or would you tell them that it's kinda like a 2D Minecraft, but with some different mechanics? If you chose the second option, that's great, me too. It tells me personally a lot more what the game is like. But comparing games to other games can be an extremely flawed method. I mean, you could almost say that describing games by comparing them to other games is kind of like the Dark Souls of categorizing. You see what I do? Just like with the gaming genres, there are a lot of different things in games that can be similar to other things in other games, like the genre first-person shooter. Those are just games where you shoot stuff in the first-person camera mode, meaning that you're looking out of the eyes of the character that you're playing. I think most people know what it is, but just to be clear, games like Call of Duty Warzone are first-person and games like Fortnite are third-person. But Fortnite and Warzone are quite similar games. They are both battle royales, and both games, in my opinion, are quite easy to get into, but pretty hard to get good at. So they both have a really high skill ceiling for the gamer terms over here. For these reasons, but mainly the battle royale aspect, I would compare Fortnite to Warzone, or the other way around as well. But others might not and will not agree to that. Maybe for some the first person camera in Warzone is really important to them, meaning that it is wildly different from Fortnite, and other people might say, well yeah, but Fortnite has a building and Warzone doesn't, which means that it's an entirely different game as well. So where I would compare Fortnite and Warzone and say that they're similar to kind of like recommend a game to someone, others really might not. And this of course can be said for any game. Let's take a look at some more dissimilar games that I've personally compared to each other in order to recommend something to someone. If someone were to ask me if they would like The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I would take a look at the games that they've played and look for stuff that is in some way similar to Tears of the Kingdom. So when I'm looking for those commonalities, I might take a look at Horizon Forbidden West if they've played that game, and compare the combat system from that game kinda to Tears of the Kingdom. And yes, I do know that they are different. In some aspects, they can be quite similar. I might even notice that they've played and loved Red Dead Redemption 2, and point out that both games have a lot of freedom and a lot of small, fun NPC interactions that are just in the game for you to be found. I mean, if the person I'm talking to mostly enjoys exploration and freedom in games, I might even like hit a long shot and compare it to Minecraft. And of course, I would tell them that they're not similar in many other ways, but if that is the most important aspect of them while playing games, sure, I would compare the two. But, and here is the like nitpicky side of comparing games to others, if that same person would then describe Tears of the Kingdom as like Minecraft to someone else that doesn't really enjoy Minecraft, it wouldn't really do Tears of the Kingdom justice. So I know that this video is mostly just me ranting about video game genres and stuff, and I'm not apologizing. Next on the list is cozy games. Cozy games are really fun, really cool. I like cozy games a lot. I play a lot of them, but my god, are there tons of garbage cozy games out there right now. Ever since Animal Crossing New Horizons took the world by storm back in 2020, a lot of companies were like, wow, I gotta make cozy games. And then what they did is they went out and made really mediocre farming simulators. Farming simulators are not cozy games, they are simply farming simulators. But that begs the question, what makes a game a cozy game? And the answer is, I don't know. I do not know. It's just the feeling that you get from playing that game. If that feeling is cozy, it's a cozy game. But there are so many titles that I have seen get called a cozy game, which they are absolutely not. But just because there is this teeny little detail that some people can call cozy, they call it a cozy game. I mean, going back to Sea of Stars, yes, it is a really nice looking game. It looks quite cute and it has cozy, heartwarming moments. But to call this game a cozy game, I mean, have you even played it? Like, the main enemy is a guy called the Fleshmancer, who makes enemies for you to defeat out of the flesh, blood, bones and souls of creatures. That doesn't really sound cozy to me, but I mean, well, I guess the music is very fun and goes like this, and that's gotta be cozy. I'm losing my mind, so I guess this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, press the like button, subscribe for more stuff, and maybe watch another video if you want. I'm not gonna force you, but you might like it. Oops. Bye.